Welcome to the Neverworld podcast, where together we explore the strange and unusual. Every journey starts with the first step into the unknown.
Hey, welcome to Neverworld podcast. I'm Scott. There's Dave flying his ship above, around, wherever. Hey, I'd like to welcome you today to one of our little, what we call a pair take. It's where Dave and I spin a wheel and talk about something that we may or may not have any clue about. So it could be interesting, it could be horrible, it could be fun, it could be informative. Who knows? But before then, I'd like to thank all our new listeners. Dave's got his Google Foo ready. So thank all our listeners, our new subscribers, and everybody who likes these type of topics and things. Thanks for joining us. Share us, drop us a line, tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear. Would love to interact with you. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you want to listen
Rumble.
to podcasts. Rumble, yes, and on Rumble as well. So we have at least something coming out every week. We do also do full episodes where we do a little bit deeper dive, but we like to Dave and I just like to talk about stuff. So in addition to talking about paranormal and aliens and stuff, we also have another podcast called Old Ass Movie Reviews. Go look for us if you like to talk about old movies or hear about a movie. If you're looking for something you haven't seen, go check out our stuff. We'll give some recommendations and some caveats. Links below. Yes. So anyway, I did not. So what we're going to do now, folks, is we are going to spin the wheel and see what kind of topic we get today. And it's slowing down, and we are on what is it? What is it? What? I don't know. Lizard people.
Get out of town. Is it really lizard people? Lizard people. Get out of town. This is funny because me and a guy at work were talking right before the end of the workday, and he's like, Dave, I don't know if I can get behind the thought of lizard people. And I just started laughing. Then we went on the subject of Land of the Lost and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, lizard people.
Well, the fact that you mentioned Land of the Lost, there's also, I think it was during the Matt Smith years of Doctor Who, where they dealt with the Hollow Earth and the other species that have been here all along. Mm-hmm. Lizard people, to me, I don't see that as far-fetched. If I'm going to believe in a Bigfoot or a skunk ape, it's not hard for me to go on with the lizard people. I mean, because it could be the same thing. They could be, when we did our skunk ape episode, I forget the person's name, but they sent out, they commented on our YouTube link about, they thought there was a series of underground tunnels or stuff that they could travel in. It's like, okay. Yeah. So if there's lizard people, that's how things are coming and going. But what is the conventional wisdom on lizard people? Do you know?
My understanding of lizard people is I'm sorry, I'm doing a really bad impression of some other show's character.
Give him a shout out, Dave.
Okay, I'll give him a shout out. The Y-Files, and this is
love it.
Fear the Crab Cat. He's got a character on there called the Hecklefish, and I love the character Hecklefish. Yeah. And Y-Files does what I hope for us to eventually be able to do on such a good scale, and just tremendous. I love the show. I love anything paranormal though. So the old sightings and stuff like that. I love those old shows. But lizard people, from what I understand, what I've read, what little bit I've read, and whatever I've been able to gather, is it's not just, some people say that they're aliens. Some people believe that they were actually a race, excuse me, that existed before man. Mm-hmm. And they never died out, and they went underground to live, and they eventually come out every once in a while. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on, what is the name of the ranch?
Skinwalker
Ranch had what they call skinwalkers. Some people believe that some of the skinwalkers were the lizard people, some of the local tribes, I believe, around that area have a species, and they said that they were lizard men.
Hmm.
Some people believe that they were insects of some sort. So the lizard people legends have been around for a very long time. And in certain areas of this country, like in the swamps, you have stories of lizard people. Like in Louisiana, I
Mhm.
remember back in the 80s, they were talking about finding a lizard man, and it was like a Bigfoot sighting. And I don't have all the specs because it's been
Right.
such a long time.
Well,
I
that
wouldn't even
and we just kind
know.
of put on the spot for this.
You know what? Let me look up
Yeah,
Louisiana
go right ahead.
lizard man sightings
And while you're
around
doing
this
that,
way.
I will talk a little bit about, I always wondered if the whole idea of the lizard people came from the TV show V, that came out in the 80s, and it dealt with a race of aliens who were lizards, or reptilian, I should say. Lizard is just such a blanket term, so a more
Mhm.
reptilian race. Um, we've all seen the memes out there. We've all seen, there's the president. He's really a lizard, and it's like,
Right.
I don't buy all of this. I mean, but
Can't doubt that one though.
but it could be. Could there be another race under the ground of people that? And now here's the thing: if they are shapeshifters, like or
Mhm.
skinwalkers, as
Right.
same type of thing, kind of synonymous, they would be easy to blend in and everything. And
Oh
it's
yeah,
just,
especially if they're a shapeshifter.
yeah. But how much of their DNA over all this time has now been worked into ours? How much interbreeding has happened? So it's I haven't seen a lot of proof, but one of the things that always got me on the idea of a reptilian race is if you go back, and I want to say, and I just saw this the other day. I was
Mhm.
looking at pictures of some Mayan artifacts, and there was
Right.
a couple of
Right.
statues of lizard people.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Well, that goes back to what we always say when we look at a legend, and let's
yeah,
lizard people. I brought up Louisiana. The one thing that I was just started kind of scrolling through, they were talking about a 1988 uh, lizard man, however, refused to be forgotten since the so-called lizard mania of 1988, which was in South Carolina. So not just
lizard
in
mania.
Louisiana, but South Carolina. I mean, lizard people
Lizard
are everywhere.
mania sounds like a convention I'd go to.
But that just kind of goes, yeah, right. It just kind of goes to what we always say. There's always legends of lizards or ghosts or Bigfoot or fill in the blank. They're all over the world. You just mentioned the Mayan temple.
Yeah.
If you go over and look at some of the old Hindu temples, they have gods, you know, for lack of a better term, because
Mhm.
they have thousands of gods for the
Yeah.
Hindu religion, and they're lizard people. There's lizard people in Egypt. They have one of, I forgot which god it is, but it has
Mhm.
like some kind of lizard's head.
It was
And it just,
crocodile.
yeah,
I think that's the
crocodile,
one that
but
eats the
lizard,
hearts
he's
of
still a
the.
lizard.
Yeah, he eats the hearts of the people as it's being weighed against their sin, and if it
Right,
comes
right.
back heavier, or if they come back not innocent or whatever, then he eats their heart, and
Yeah.
they do not get to go to the field of reeds. Yeah.
So I'm a believer in everything, and I'm a believer in nothing, and yet I believe in everything. I believe there's something to
True
everything,
that. True that.
you know? So lizard people, would I be shocked to find out there's this underground kingdom that's, so much more advanced? I'd be a little ticked off.
I'd be
And I'll
mad.
tell you why, because I want a flying car.
Yeah.
Okay? Back to the Future promised me a freaking flying DeLorean. I do not have one. That's
Nope.
all I'm saying.
No.
But now to get back to seriousness, the lizard people, I believe they were called Silurians, which is what I think the Doctor Who series calls
Yes.
them. But I do think that that's what they have been referred to from
And that's possible
other
because
scientists,
even
if I'm not
one of the things
mistaken.
I noticed about watching at least the whole revival of Doctor Who, starting with
Uh,
Eccleston and stuff, is
right, right.
they hit on things like of course, the writers have got to go to somewhere to get their inspiration. So that was a great way to do it. It also just instantly reminded me of another topic. There was an episode of Torchwood when they were dealing with the brownies, the little pixies that somebody took photos of as real entities. And it's like, wow, that's actually really cool. Neat idea.
Yeah.
So
where do they come from? I mean, but yeah, I do believe that there's a chance for lizard people to exist. The legends from the South, I just remember vaguely back in the 80s, living up in Michigan and watching the stuff on the news, because once in a while something would come through, or I'd have a magazine called Fate Magazine that I would read every once in a while, or some other a magazine of we'll call it the occult, because that's all I can think to call it right now, or a paranormal magazine of some sort would have something in there about lizard people, Bigfoot and stuff like that. But I remember back in the 80s, there was a point where you're like, if it wasn't Bigfoot, it wasn't Loch Ness Monster, it was a lizard person. The Mothman got really big there for a while, the sightings of the Mothman. But I think that could be battle armor. But that's just me. Well, when we talk about Mothman, we'll talk a little bit about that.
Mothman is on the list.
Yeah, good, because we need to talk. These always throw me off whenever we do the little spin, but they're fun to talk about, because it's like all this obscure stuff that I've
and that's just it.
Years,
over the years we've gathered this stuff and just have experiences, and this is what people who talk to each other do. We just you just chat. Hey, let's talk about lizard people. So, but I do hope that this sparks some imagination or some thinking on people's mind, because I cannot definitively say yes, there's lizard people. Would I be surprised? Not really. Would I be pissed? Yeah, because I can't help but feel
you want a flying car.
Yeah, you want a flying car. I just want to stop being lied to, and just so we can move forward as a species. If there's other species here, let's go on. Let's get together. Let's do this thing. It's just crazy to me.
To their credit, they haven't wiped us out to the last man yet.
We've probably deserved it many times.
Well, yeah. I mean, really, I'm not one of those people who says, "Oh, mankind is all horrible," because you have the extreme opposites. You have the Adolf Hitlers and his cronies, and the Stalins and the Lenins, and then you turn over here and you're like, you have the Mother Teresas, and Saint Nicholas, and I need another one. Give me another one. Give me another good human being. Gandhi. You got the extreme opposite, these opposing views, and I wonder if, let's just say, lizard people were getting ready to push the button and say, you know what, we need to wipe off the hairless apes, and somebody's like, yeah, but look at this guy over in this other country. He's fighting for peace, and he's not even throwing a punch. And look at this nice little lady. She's helping all these children. If they just look at that and go, well, why do they have these other people? Why are they letting them? Well, they won't fight them because they're good people.
This really makes me want to go back and watch that episode of Doctor Who, because I want to say they touch on a lot of this about why we haven't been wiped out. So it's kind of neat. It is a Matt Smith season. I don't know if it was his first or second season or something. It was early on. I remember watching it.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was with Amy Pond still. So
but it's just interesting when you think about like lizard people or the Bigfoots or any other species, and there are so many people that are quick to dismiss everything. I'm not that quick to dismiss anything anymore.
No.
Over the last 5 years, I think I've learned more about things that I don't know, or that I thought that I was absolutely sure of, that now I'm like, wow, I got a lot of doubts. And I have a lot of thoughts, like stuff that I would have 10 years ago laughed at me about. I'm looking at like, wow, maybe there's something there. So
well, and that's just it. And that's one of the things that has happened with me too. And then we'll wrap on this lizard, the lizard people. But as we start doing this and I start digging, my mind starts to think different. And one of the things that always got me, and we talked a lot about this in episode 2 when we talk about chariots of the gods, in like the book of Enoch, or Ezekiel, or both of those, where they talk about the chariots themselves. So that made me think, so people saw aliens and they just called them gods. But then my brain said, what if they were gods?
Yeah.
So I am not quick to dismiss anything just yet.
Mhm.
I do require a high level of convincing, but
Right,
man,
right. I get it.
I'm not gonna shut the door on it just yet. You
No,
know,
no.
so
It
that's
there's a show that I watched, and it talks about how how aliens may show up on the planet and how they try to contact us, and it's not any way that we always think. So just basically just keep your mind open, folks. That's all I can say. I mean, I'm not going to go around and throw on my hippie beads and go to Burning Man, because basically it's been taken over by corporations. So I
oh
won't
yeah,
do that. Um, but I would have gone when it was still fun.
yeah.
Uh, but I can't just look at something and go, oh no, there's nothing there. If anybody has a religion and they're like, well, this is my religion, and okay, well, tell me about it. I'm more interested in it now, and much more interested than I was probably 20 years ago.
I'm right there with you. I've actually, people may think I've gone a little off the deep end, but I find
Yeah,
myself to be more open-minded, and a
yeah,
little more accommodating to beliefs that I don't understand or things that are
yeah.
not mine. I'm not so quick to call somebody a flake, I guess
Right.
is what I'm trying to say. So it's like,
Well,
they
yeah,
may have something.
it's easy to call somebody a flake, and it's dismissive and it's insulting.
Yeah.
So I try not to do that to anybody. Even if I think what they're telling me is totally wacky, I want to give it some time to set in my head
Yep.
and then go, oh, okay, I get it. I kind of get where I don't agree with it, or
Yeah.
I do agree with it a little bit, but I want it to set in my head before I can sit there and say no or
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
basically. So yeah, I think I'm a little bit more open-minded than I was,
Right.
used to be.
Yeah.
I'm much more apt nowadays to get mad at inanimate objects and hit it with a hammer and swear like a madman for 5 minutes than I am to like get upset with a human being, really.
Yeah. I mean, because we
Unless I'm
don't
really,
know.
really annoyed.
Yeah. When it comes to this, we really don't know.
Right.
So is there another race? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen proof. Some people are very convinced. I don't buy half the stuff I see. This is one of my biggest frustrations as we
Right.
start to investigate. Is there's so much crap out there that people have purposely done that's fake,
Right.
that is harmful. Don't put the fake stuff out there.
Shoot, gosh, oh golly. The only thing that I can say to that, good catch, by the way, is that the Antarctic. I think that's where a lot of these answers begin and end, is in the Antarctic.
The picture
And
I sent you from NASA still blows my mind. That's all.
that there's no way that's not created by something. But anyway,
Perfect 90-degree angles I don't believe appear in nature. I'm just saying.
I've said it once before and I'll say it again. It is the only place on Earth that the entire planet's governments all agree that nobody's allowed to go to. And they can give me any BS reason they want to. I'm not buying that it's pure and this and that. You guys have been flying jets over it and having ships over there. There's a reason they don't want anybody there. And they'll basically, it's a death sentence if you try to get into certain parts of the Antarctic
Isn't that
without
crazy?
being given permission. So
Yeah.
I'm not buying that it's just, oh, we want to keep the snow clean. Really? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Why do you
Yeah.
have a lot of it blurred whenever I go to Google Maps?
Yeah,
So
so
I'm
that is a
saying,
topic
folks.
for another day. So,
So
folks,
lizard people are down south.
they could be. They could be very cold, though. So maybe they're a warm-blooded species.
Yeah, it could be. Well, if you're in the planet,
Yeah,
that's your entrance.
that could be.
Yeah.
So, folks, thanks for joining us for our quick little take on lizard people. And if you like what you see and hear, hit like, hit subscribe, hit share, pass it around, hit us up and let us know what you want to hear about or talk about, or got a story to tell us. I'd love to hear it. So
let us know what you think of lizard people.
Yeah,
do they really exist?
Exactly. So thanks again, folks, and catch us next time on Neverworld Podcast.
Have a good one.